Well, it's interesting how things change. I set the alarm for 4 o'clock this morning and I woke up at 4 and I got up and I wasn't tired or nothing. I just didn't feel like leaving, and so I just got back straight into bed. And now it's 10 o'clock and I've pulled the sail cover off, so we're getting closer to moving. And I got another 3 bottles of water because I got a feeling we might be going somewhere else. I did have a look at the chart to have a look at the Isle of Man and St. Mary, Port St. Mary, so it's possible that we could be going over there. But I won't know until I leave here and sail out of there, because it depends on what everything's doing, where I'm going to be heading for. Okay, well, I'll leave it on that for the moment. Well, we're off. No motor, we just cast ourselves off there, and yeah, we're heading out. Yeah, we've got a double reef in the mainsail. And we're heading out quite slowly. There's our lighthouse over there. Just got to go around that. Well, it's really slow getting out, probably because I've got the mainsail reefed, but I don't know, I just feel like it's better to have it like that. And I'm getting to play around more with the head sail. I've got the full head sail out and the reefed mainsail, and it's quite interesting to mess around with, see what the balance is like. It's different balance. And I'm doing 4.5 knots sometimes if I go more on a kind of a side onto the wind. If I run straight with the wind, I lose my speed. I want to run straight with the wind direction wise, but then I'm losing my speed, and there's a lot of current taking me to the west at the moment, and that's good because it turns around. It's 12 o'clock now, and it will turn around 4 and 5 o'clock. It will be going the other way, so it's good because I can get out away from the head and then just turn around and carry on the other way. I should be further out to sea, but it's taken me a long time to get started, and it's good that if I'd just gone out at the time I thought I should go out, I would have spent all those hours trying to get out, and in the end I wouldn't have missed the current that I want. And so it was actually the opposite of what it seemed like it was. I don't know if that makes sense. I'll show you the lighthouse where I had a little trouble last time. I can see it now. It's over there. I don't know if you can see that. We're still well and truly in the bay. Haven't really exited yet. Oh, we're going to have a quick chip sandwich. Oh, we got her on the autopilot there. And we're just sitting, sailing backwards, forwards, who knows. We're sailing, but we're not going anywhere. We're just hanging around here, waiting for the current to change, so we maybe have something to eat. Well, we'll see if we can have a bit of a session with the camera before it falls off. It's a bit lumpy out here because we've got this strong current against the sort of swell and that. So, whoops, it's a bit lumpy. It's okay. We're holding position, so we've got a few hours yet before the tide turns, and so when the tide turns around we should be doing quite good. We're in a good position to just point straight out of here, and it's been good to familiarise ourselves with these strong currents and how the boat's handling and everything. And I'm kind of thinking maybe I should, let the reef out, but no, don't let the reef out. It's interesting how much easier the boat is to handle with a smaller mainsail, because we got quite a big genoa anyway. So when we were going with the current, we were doing about 5.5 knots, so should be alright once the current starts. We don't want to get there too fast. That's what happened last time. We were getting there too fast with the current, so I had to heave to and just point her out, and the current took me out to sea. And we ended up about 10 miles out to sea, being taken by the current overnight, and then we had to make that up the next day. So we'll see how it goes. The auto helm's doing an excellent job of just holding the boat, pointing in the one direction. It's very difficult. We're pointing one direction, but we're like going the other. I'll show you on the chart plotter. She's roly-polying here, trying to get out of here. Okay, you can see that, but we're doing 1.3, 0.8, sort of half a knot kind of thing, and we're pointing the other direction to what we're sailing. We're sailing exactly the opposite way to what that's pointing. Well, that's good, we've got plenty of sea behind us there, so it's good that we weren't over here. We'll just carry on for a bit, take it easy. Well, we got ourselves, whoops, a bit of a cup of coffee. It's always good to have coffee on board and keep everything going. There's not much solar power at the moment. I think it's necessary to be careful and frugal with the solar power. I haven't put my computer, my laptop on charge, because that'll just knock it. And the panel voltage is very low. Yeah, we've got 12.9 volts. It's only just enough to charge a little bit. It should be 13.5 really, 14, something like that. And so you're not getting much charge, and you can see the indicator says that the battery's taking, it needs some charge in the battery, but I don't know, you can't tell how full the battery is when it's like this, because all you're seeing is the panel voltage, that's all. You have to turn the panels off to actually see whether your battery's, how charged your battery is. So you can't really do that. And it's also charging the other bank of batteries, because we've now got the auto helm going, and that's using the other set of batteries, so that's not using any of the batteries to do with the navigation gear and all that stuff. So our primary concern is to keep the navigation gear going. We could do without the auto helm if we have to, but the navigation gear, I don't know how the old sailors used to deal with these coasts, because you know, how would you know that you were going backwards and you had to face the opposite direction, or which direction you had to face to take you even to whole course? I don't think they would even know. They'd probably just go with the tide, you know, just run with the tide, wherever that went. The whole idea of going against the tide is probably not really natural. Although we do have to get this thing to Port Penrhyn in that direction, so, and I didn't want to go the other way for some reason. I didn't want to go through the bar. I want to go this way round for some reason. Don't know why. And we're obviously not getting anywhere fast at this rate, and I hope things change when the current changes. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy my cup of coffee now. Well, I've turned the boat around and I'm heading the other direction, away from Anglesey, because it looked like when the tide turns it might bring us closer into the land, and there's all sorts of eddies and stuff around there, and so I'd rather be out at sea. And as soon as I turned it around and started to head out at sea, I pointed the boat west, but we're going southwest, so we're heading in completely the wrong opposite direction at a rate of about 5.5 knots. But it's quite comfortable because the boat can, you know, I can point the boat nicely. It's the sails can sit over. The wind's picked up because we've cleared out off of Anglesey, and so, you know, we've got a good amount of power. And I'm glad now that I didn't undo the sail, because the reefed sail is good, and we're just going nicely. And so it's raining. Can't see the land anymore because of the rain. And so we're just heading basically on that peninsula of Wales at points like an arm. We're just heading in that direction, straight out down the St George's Channel. And so we can do that. We're not going to hit anything, so we can do that for as long as we like, really, and find out where we end up. And once the tide turns, then we can decide what we're going to do then, because it's still got a way to go. It only turns at about 5 o'clock, and it only starts running the other way about 6, so we've still got a couple of hours of this. So we may as well make ourselves comfortable. It was uncomfortable sailing continuously, trying to sail at the opposite direction, and, you know, to keep, well, I said, you know, it's not an easy sail like that. And now that we're moving and we're going, and I can also pick my line that I want relative to the waves, and so got a nice comfortable, you know, the boat's pushed over to one side and it's facing nicely into the swell, and everything's good out here, you know? So I could go out, it doesn't matter, I could end up in Ireland, it doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter, as long as I'm not going to run into Anglesey or Holy Island or something like that. That's not what I want. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff around the top of Anglesey that's you can run into, and so I'm going to keep away from that until I've got good control, and I want to be offshore, really, to do this. And I don't know, I may end up somewhere else, we'll see. Okay. As you can see, we're cruising pretty good. A little bit of water around. You can hear the rain, I suppose. Hope the wind's not too bad. We're on the helm here. We can't do anything because it's on the autopilot, so you can see where we're going, and you can see here that. Give you an idea. 7:15, and well, we're doing about 4.5 knots. We're heavily reefed, really. I don't really feel like putting any more out because I've been going for quite some time now and I get quite tired. So the less I have to do, the better. And what we're hoping is that the current's going to take us right round the top of Anglesey between now and maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. And so we're just going to stick with it. There are quite a few ships around and they just don't take any notice of little boats, and so I really have to keep my eye out for these things because they just rely totally on the what they call this thing, this thing that they can see you on the I don't know what it is. It's a devil's device, whatever it is. I can't think of the name of it, but I've got one, but it doesn't transmit, it only receives, and not from very far away, and so they're no good unless you have one that transmits, because that's all they're watching now. Nobody's watching. I nearly got run over out here, just minding my own business, my little sail up, and just about got mowed down by something doing 30 knots, came out of nowhere. And I had my foghorn going. I think I used up all the compressed air, but it didn't make any difference. They probably couldn't hear anything, all in their air-conditioned office. And yeah, so it gave me a bit of a. I'm certainly not going to go to sleep at night without a watch around here because there's all sorts of boats, large vessels moving around here. So we've had a bit of rain, it's been a bit wet and miserable actually, not very nice conditions, but what you get really, and it seems to be my luck at the moment to have difficult conditions. I think I better wipe the lens now. It's calmed off a bit. Calmed off a bit around here, and the wind has veered a little bit, so we're actually sailing into the wind now. We can't really point any further, and so we can't actually point to go around any more than what we're doing at the moment. So we're pointing actually just a bit more than the Isle of Man, so if we have to fall off a bit, we can sail towards the Isle of Man if we want to do that. So it depends on how things go really. As this current, once it's got you, it's got you. We're doing about 5.5, 6 knots now, and yeah, I don't think it matters which way you point. We're just going with the current now. Yeah. Okay. Here's a super blue moon. That's what you call the crack of dawn. too terrible down there after a night of being bashed around. Yeah, all the electrics went, the battery packed up, and so and the spare battery not much good either. And so what happened was we charged all of our phones, the iPad, all the phones and everything, and turned everything off because I knew it was just going to, well, it conked out in the end. But before it conked out, I managed to charge everything up and switch them all off. So I've got like 4 charged iPhones, and I've just been switching the iPhone on, one of them on, just having a look where my position is, and then turning it off again. And so I'm preserving the power that way. The auto helm, something happened to that. It's funny. It says that it's full charge. It said on the motor. It's got those blue lights on the motor, but it doesn't work anymore. And I checked the battery, and the battery's only got 12.2 volts. You'd still think it would run on 12.2 volts, but it doesn't like it. It's kind of not enough to run the motor. But what we've done is, and our tiller steering has got a little problem with it, because the steering wheel, the nut that holds it on, needs tightening up. Now I don't have the socket for that, but I can actually, you can see the rope going around there, and that's holding the tiller now. And whilst the steering, I'm not going to use this here, but I can pull it, spin the steering and adjust the tiller with the hand there, and get it so it's pointing right, and just get the sails balanced nicely. And yeah, it just holds, pretty much holding course. You can see Anglesey, we're going around Anglesey at the moment. You can see in the distance there the coastline of Anglesey. Morning coffee, and yeah, see how this microphone works. Does it go all bad now in the wind or not? We'll just have to test it. But yeah, it's a bit rugged out here after a night, but it's nice when the day comes. It's nice, not so nice in the night. And so many big ships passing in the night just frighten the life out of you, really. And they don't stop. they don't take any notice of little boats on the sea at night, especially ones that don't have any lights on because their batteries have gone flat. Oh well, I'm going to have to rethink this electric business. I don't like it, you know, this being dependent upon electricity. I just don't like it. Don't know what you do, really. Maybe just don't do it anymore. You can't fight these big ships. If a big ship comes along now, he'll just run straight over my path. He doesn't give a damn. And sometimes when I'm sailing, it's not possible to actually, you know, you can only get one course. You might be doing minus 1 knot backwards or something. What can you do if the current's got you, and now you've got to somehow maneuver your way out of it without using a motor? I mean, there's no time to start turning motors on if you're by yourself. And yeah, you just have to have quick thinking, really. Try another tack, hopefully you pick the right tack. I don't know. Okay, but it's nice today, it's nice now. It's not so, the wind is, it's got a good amount of wind. It's not strong, it's not really rough. Well, it's very choppy. It's always choppy out here. with the current, the strong currents. We've got the current against us at the moment. It's going to turn around in about half an hour, and we should see a bit of a speed bump at that point. Okay. You can see we've got zero current at the moment, and we're doing about 3 knots. The current's about to change, and we're holding a good heading to get us around the top of Anglesey. A nice beam reach, so should be okay. Well, it's nice to have something dry to change into, as everything else is a bit damp from the night. That's good. Well, there's a bay at the end of this line here, and to get to it I'm going to have to go all the way out here because the current is taking me at 6-7 knots, you see, and the current's going to change, and so I'll go as far as the current takes me, and then when the current changes I'll turn around and head back in this direction, and we should be able to then sail to that bay. I'm hoping we'll sail to that bay. Okay. Nice flat calm now. We're doing about 6 knots. Straight off into the east of Anglesey. Anglesey's way over there. But we have to go east with the current because we're going to turn around and go west back to Elian Bay. Port Elian, actually. Somewhere over there. Well, we took the reef out. It was very easy to do it because we just waited until we felt like doing it, and that was when the wind died down. And when the wind died down, it was really easy to take out the reef. You can see I put the cover down and made it a bit easier. But yeah, we've totally becalmed now. Beautiful clouds over there. That's where we're trying to head to. We're going to have to wait till the current changes. Well, it's actually beautiful conditions for sailing up here at the moment. It's flat, there's a perfect little breeze blowing, and we're still doing about 3.5-4 knots. We've still got the current with us, and so it's better to use that current. What I've done is I've changed tack, so we're now actually heading towards the shore, but because of the current we're actually pointing directly at the Menai Straits. We're pointing at it and the Puffin Island, so even if we point a bit more than that it'd be quite good, because depending on how long the current lasts for how far we go, we might be able to take the other tack and sail in. Now you can see the wind has shifted, coming this way now more. It's gone around, which is good because it's going to blow me right into the Menai Straits. The only thing is whether the tide is right at the time I get there. And if I end up with a strong current fighting me, I can just turn around and head up around the coast, and there's a number of bays along here. These conditions, you could pick any one of these bays really, and just put the anchor in. We're going, heading off. You can't just leave this thing in these conditions. You really need that electric thing. You can't just leave the tiller, but it looks after itself mostly. It's a shame the steering wheel's not working, because you could just sit on the helm and steer it with the steering wheel. It's slipping, that's just a pain. Actually, it might be okay in these conditions. No, it's not, it's just slipping. We've got to help it. Got to help it. It's just like totally the opposite of what it was last night. Last night was rough as. Now it's really nice. It's around this side. There's a sheltered bay here. Penrhyn Bay, Conway Bay, I'm not sure. Penrhyn Bay. It's a bit more sheltered than on that side of Anglesey, where you've got the big fetch. You've got a big fetch coming up the St George's Channel there. Here you're a little bit out of the channel, but there's loads of current. It's all the stuff coming out of the Conway River and the Menai Straits. Lots of current here, going both way, all the way. The current goes round and round. Crazy stuff here. And you've got to be very careful. I feel a bit safer offshore, but then when you get offshore, because you can't run into anything, when you get offshore, you've got these great big boats to deal with. There's none around here. I haven't seen any this morning because they're more on that side. There's only Conway here, so this is a good bay. If I had to drift around in here tonight, it wouldn't be too bad. It'd be better to anchor though. Maybe we'll see. I don't make any promises to myself. You know, I could still end up in that bay, Port Elian. I could end up in there. I could end up sailing right into the Menai Strait. I could end up in one of these other little bays. You've got to be able to go with the flow. You know, you see the opportunity. You see how it progresses. I did say that I was just going to sail directly from Holyhead straight to the mooring. Which I've done that so far. I've just sailed continuously without stopping. Okay. I don't know if you can see there, but we're laying perfectly to Puffin Island. It's perfect. There's a few puffins. Well, if they are puffins, they are something else. It's really amazing clouds today. Well, it's calmed right off out there, so we might be a bit late for the tide. But we're just going to soldier on anyway. We're going to have something to eat. A little bit of a snack. Well, it's nice to be anchored up after all that. I almost made it all the way in, but the wind just dropped off to nothing and we were pretty much becalmed out there. So I started the engine and chugged in. It took me about an hour and a half to motor into shore here. I'm at Red Wharf Bay, just before the entrance to Menai Straits. And so it was a good test for the engine, because last time I used the engine, very difficult situation. The engine sort of stalled. It stopped almost like it ran out of fuel or something like that. But I think it may be just some of the tipping sort of action may have caused some problem with the fuel delivery. But it just ran perfectly now. I have, when an engine lets you down like that, you often you're a bit concerned about trying it again. I know it starts, but then I don't know whether it would run for a long time. But it did. It ran for, well, I think pretty much 2 hours. I ran it for, and I came in about 3.5 knots, something like this. I only used it very lightly, and it's an interesting thing. A paraffin engine has got a completely different sound to a petrol engine. It sounds very soft and gentle. It's like a gentle engine. It doesn't have that pow, 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 the explosion of a petrol engine. It's more of a, if you can imagine the difference between a paraffin heater and an electric heater. It's sort of similar, really. Much more gentle kind of a object. So I'm pleased with that, and well, I was tired. I lay down, had a bit of a sleep, and then got up and made a big feed. I've just finished that now. And we're checking our anchor. We have a new anchor that we put on at Holyhead, a new anchor chain, a new anchor, and you can see we seem to be stuck fast to the bottom here. It's only 2 meters, 2.5 meters where I'm anchored here. It's very shallow, sandy bay, so you could drift and drag and it wouldn't really matter. You could only end up in the shallows somewhere, get out at low tide, so it wouldn't really matter here. It's a good spot to park up. And I'm just waiting for the proper tide, because what happened was I ran out of I was running with the tide and the current, and when it turned and went the other way, it became very difficult to go in this direction. And so instead of carrying on to the entrance there, I would have been against the tide. I took a sideways trip to Red Wharf Bay, which was sort of not as difficult as going full against the tide. So yeah, it worked out all right. But I know when I leave here, I'll just make sure that the tide's running when I go, and so I'll hop on the running tide, and we'll probably motor in, unless the wind happens to be favourable. But last time I came here, I motored all the way, really, and I'll make sure I've got enough kerosene in the paraffin or kerosene, whatever you want to call it, in my tank before I start, so that I can get all the way to Port Penrhyn, really. That's where I need to go. Get my boat on the hard, get myself back home, finish this boating thing for the year. Thanks for watching.